All right. Hello and welcome to episode 2. Uh, no Borders channel, apparently. Made that up after the first video. First of all, let me give y'all a trigger warning. I'm going to be talking about police violence, and y'all know what comes with that. I understand that after the second presidential debate, pretty much everybody's juiced out, wants to just put this shit behind us. But if you're looking for a refreshing take, do stick around, and I think you'll be pleasantly surprised by such a knowledgeable uh, uh, realization from someone of my pigmentation. Let's get started. Actually, before I get started, I do want to say just a couple little quick things about the 2020 election. So the media has been pushing this idea that Democrats, Kamala, and Joe Biden are somehow the answer. Not even that, really. They're just pushing that Donald Trump is the problem. But the more you look into it, Donald Trump, he hasn't passed racist legislature. He's promised the Platinum Plan, which is $500 billion to black communities. Now, if you're a extremist who wants to go to civil war possibly because of the racial inequalities in America, you should be voting Trump. You should say, let me find out. You should say, yeah, 500? All right, put it up. Because Joe Biden, Kamala, I haven't heard any of their suggestions. All they do with their fucking camera time is talk about how bad Trump is. Now, some well thought out. I saw a YouTube channel. It had like 7 views. I'll put the link to that in the description. So, anyways, he had a very good counter to that. It's like if you give 500 billion, some people are gonna say, all right, well everything's solved now, and so they don't need any more help, which is a fair worry. But it makes sense. Some people are gonna say, all right, well that should solve everything, but we don't know that. There's a reason Trump doesn't just go on stage, and we all know he'd love to. There's a reason he doesn't go out on stage and say, I got reparations, because black people don't want to hear the word reparations, because if you portray it like that, it's going to be seen as a solve-all, but it's not. It's a starting point. It's a down payment. 500 billion sounds good. At this point, I'm kind of regretting voting for Yay so I could vote for 500 billion to black communities. But that's where my vote lied. Fuck it. So you should be saying, let me find out. And, at least he doesn't call it reparations. Someone like me, let me put it like this. He promised 500 billion. I have no fucking clue what that looks like. I have no way of imagining 500 billion. Now, what I do need to see is, black neighborhoods go up. Level up. I need to see that to say, okay, well now y'all finally got the fair chance that y'all never had since you were freed. And hey, it's a starting point. He doesn't call it reparations. Enough of that. Let's get to the shit. And all in all, politicians aren't the answer. We gotta start going to church and connecting churches. Have your Sundays, but like on Wednesday, you could team up with a mosque. Like maybe don't go into their worship. If you don't want to, but I'm sure they're doing some extracurricular community helping activities that both churches can join in on. There's this idea of separation of church and state, but it's the same idea with like separation of church, state and business. Like it's all supposed to be by the people. Not every individual person needs a seat at the table, but they need access to the person who is sitting at the table representing them. And it's like, I went to the Black Lives Matter protest, and those cops, they agree. I told them, and they understood. The people are out there because they don't have any other way of feeling like they're being heard by the people in charge. And it's not the police who are at the table, but they're enforcing the rules of it. More so, let's talk on this police situation. The latest shooting, Philadelphia, Walter Wallace Jr. Now, if the first thing you want to bring up when you hear about a shooting is, oh, well, what's his criminal history? What's his past? Realize that you've been radicalized because you just tried to justify why a cop should be judge, jury, and executioner, which is just plain and simple fucking wrong, and not how civility and civilization society operates. I mean, it can, but we really want to trust cops with, all right, well, if he beats his mom, yeah, just put him out in the street. Maybe some people feel that way, but I'd rather get the proof first in a organized manner, and that's important. Um, so they shouldn't have just killed him. And I'm tired of seeing these takes of people. It's like, well, they had a knife. Well, these are the cops. Let's not lower the standards for them. These are supposed to be problem solvers. People, when shit gets heated, you call to resolve a problem and have a better way of doing it than just lighting somebody the fuck up. I gave y'all that trigger warning. There is a clear difference between shooting to incapacitate somebody. Guns kill people as much as bullets kill people. A bullet can go through you. It depends where it is. Through the hand, through the leg, through the heart. Those are big differences. Now that's not saying he shouldn't have gotten shot. I'm saying, no, also, you can't always shoot in the leg. That, Biden, I swear, his team had to have stolen my shit from Twitter, but they don't have the wits to fucking explain it. You can't always shoot somebody in the leg. Let's say it like this. When they show up to that call, they realize, now this is going to be a crazy person. It seems like that, and I don't mean to be ableist. Like, this guy was beating on his mom. He has a history of that. The cops probably knew it. It looks like they just wanted to fucking execute him, because there is a difference between shooting to defend yourself and doing a mag dump into this woman's son right in front of his mother. It's fucking heartless. It's terrible. Now, to say what they should have done, they should have taken him in prison eventually. If he was beating on his moms, fuck that. Hasan Campbell, he has great takes. Check him out. Fuck Hassan Piker. Hasan Campbell. That's the real YouTube. Now it's more than, okay, so let's break it down a little bit piece by piece. So they got called to the situation, and they might have known about this dude's history of being a shitty person. Why did the cops unload their whole mags into him? That's the question. And they clearly need to be punished for that. Because they didn't shoot to just incapacitate it. I mean, they shot to kill him instantly. In Hollywood, you get sold this idea of when somebody gets shot with a gun, they just drop to the floor dead. That's not real. One of the reasons these officers want to unload the whole mag is because they don't want to be sitting around for the 2 minutes this guy's crying to his mom leaving Earth. They don't want to see that. Now, what is the solution? They should have shot him in the leg. Well, it's a little bit hard. If somebody's running at you, it takes a little bit to aim. First of all, they shouldn't have been yelling at this guy. They were yelling at him, drop the knife. They were screaming, drop the knife. We shouldn't lower the bar to where that's a good idea. No, if you know this guy has mental health problems or it's a fucking domestic abuse situation, that's high intensity. It should have been some level-headed, real G of a cop who showed up. He should have seen the guy. He should have realized, oh, he has a knife in his hand, this is gonna escalate. And I gotta draw that line somewhere. Let me draw the line by not yelling at him, not putting that energy out there, but let me inform him to say something that makes it seem like I'm interested in the well-being of this guy. Like what? Like, you better drop that knife, sir. That's what a real G would have said. And as soon as he wouldn't have, he would have just he would have had no problem drawing a line and say, a real G would have skipped back after he shot him in the leg. He would have stepped to him, shot him in the leg, and then skipped back, see where that knife goes. These people who are trusted with badges, they need to have that ability to realize when a situation is escalating and when they need to not put somebody's life on the line, but pop a cap in someone's ass. There's a fucking difference between killing and shooting. That guy who went to his car, he calmly walked to his car. Now, it didn't look like he was going to get a weapon, but really, we don't know. Now, the cops let him walk around his entire car and reach for and open his door. It got to that point. The cops should have seen it going there And when he's walking away, or when he reaches for the door, he should have popped him right in the hip. Stomp him to the side. Not kill him. But fucking... Because they mag dumped too. They really unloaded. They waited for it to be, oh, now's the instant when he might turn around with a gun. You should have been able to draw the line. If you're a cop, we need higher standards. We can't be lowering the standards for these people who are trusted with badges. They gotta have the ability to say, alright, this is getting to an uncomfortable level. I might put my job on the line. But really, even if these cops went to prison, who let Walter Wallace Jr., you know what? They might not do too bad in prison. Now George Floyd killer, whatever the fuck his name is, he leaned on a guy's neck for 8 minutes. I mean, I don't care if I ask you for help because I'm tripping out on fentanyl and I need you to hold me down. You gotta have a fucking realization when you're choking somebody out. If you can't realize that bending on somebody's neck for 8 minutes is gonna kill them, you don't deserve a driver's license, let alone a badge and a gun to patrol the streets. Now, these kids who put out Walter Wallace Jr., they might not do too bad in prison because this guy was beating on his mom. He has that history. He threatened to shoot up his baby mama's house with his kid in it. Now, he didn't say that so specifically. He said, I'll shoot up that fucking house to his baby's mom. And no, the cops weren't supposed to go kill him. They were supposed to take him into a court. But when somebody's coming at you with a knife, you know, you gotta shoot him. And now shooting's gonna do one of two things. It's either gonna snap them back to reality, or it's gonna go right through them and piss them off. It's gonna give them a flood of adrenaline, and then they might really kill you then. So you gotta shoot him once and then see how he reacts to that. And you know, really, a real G, you would have skipped back after he shot him in the leg. He would have stepped to him, shot him in the leg, and then skipped back, see where that knife goes. These kids had no interest in the well-being of that man, and they should face prison time for that. And sometimes, if a cop kills a black man like George Floyd in that way, if he goes to prison, that's a death sentence. And I'm not saying that's necessarily wrong, but that's a death sentence if he goes to prison. I mean, and it might not be called a death sentence in the court. But these kids who put out Walter Wallace Jr., you know what? They might not do too bad in there. That's my hot take. Hopefully it eases your tensions a little bit. I'm going to cut this up, post it. Follow me on Twitter, Syrup, SYRUP _918.